Hey guys, what's going on? Kody from YouTube. We are out here in the beautiful redwood forest. It's quiet, it's beautiful, it's majestic, and I'm kind of on cloud nine right now. The redwoods, not gonna lie, is like the top of my bucket list. Obviously, I want to go to all the beautiful places in the world. The redwoods has always been at the top. You know, like Yosemite, Yellowstone, Glacier National Park. But I remember ever since I was born in Florida, I remember I was like 5 years old one time, and we were flipping through this nature book in second grade, and a picture of a redwood tree came up, and I was like mesmerized by it. I was probably like 6 years old. And like so much so to where like it's burned into my memory now, like the photo of that tree. And I remember I always wanted to go here. Yeah, a few weeks ago, as you know, I quit my job, and I kind of impulsively purchased a ticket to go to Oregon. And where I was at when I got here, I was like, well, I wonder how close the redwoods are. And they're about 3 hours from where I was at. So booked me a little rental car, and we're out here in what can only be described as one of my favorite parts of the world. If I'm being honest, it's like a combination of scared and excited. Scared because I know that there's like really active wildlife in this area, and I have no weaponry. So I got this big selfie stick, and if anything comes my way, I'm just gonna act big. So I think that is kind of what this whole trip is about. It's a solo trip. Came here, I didn't know anybody, and I went by myself. And I guess that's kind of what I want to talk about today, is doing things that scare you a little bit. I guess calculated risk. This trip, it may seem impulsive on the surface, like, you know, just buying a ticket randomly and coming out here. But I've thought about this for a long time, and I've wanted to do this for a long time. I've wanted to visit the West Coast, or just the Western United States in general. And wow, sorry, I have squirrel brain right now. So if you look, that is a dead redwood. And then I believe there's a tree growing right on top of it. That's really interesting. So anyways, I decided to just kind of impulsively buy a ticket out here. And I'm really glad that I did. I don't know which way to go. We're going to go this way. I'm at a crossroads right now. I know that way is the back to my car. This way, I don't know where this goes, but it's only 0.7 miles. So worst case scenario, we just get lost in arguably the most beautiful place on earth. Whatever. So yeah, like I knew I wanted to come out here, and I knew I wanted to visit this place. I've always wanted to, and I'm really glad that I did. I gotta admit, like, you know, it's not all rainbows and sunshine. There is a lot of scary / lonely parts of doing a solo trip. One of my really good friends that I keep up with back home, he's a big backpacker, he's a big outdoorsman, and he's a really devout Christian. We were talking, and I was telling him, you know, me and my girlfriend had broken up, and we were planning this trip, and I don't know if I was gonna go. And he was like, look, man, you don't have to go. Nobody's gonna judge you for not going. But God, I am just overwhelmed by the beauty. I know those trees don't look big. I know they don't. That right there, that tree has to be 10 feet across. God bless, dude. Watch, we're gonna walk through here. Look at that, dude. Oh my God. Anyways, he's like, listen, it's gonna be hard. And it's probably gonna be a little bit depressing. He's like, but take that time to really focus on yourself, journal. He's really into God. He's like, I always use that time to like pray and meditate on like what's important to me. And I've been doing that a lot this trip. especially given the things that I've talked about in the past, which is like, you know, I don't really know what I'm going to do with my life, and I don't really know who I want to be. And, you know, I got to say, it's been really nice. There have been times when I felt just very, I don't know, alone on this trip and very like isolated, but I'm trying to focus on using that time to really just prioritize, like, I hate saying this like this because it's such an overused term, but like prioritizing my mental health. Not to sound all cliche, but it's really good to like kind of sit down and just focus on what's important to you. So anyways, I booked a trip out here and I gotta say I'm enjoying myself. And I've started to kind of like realize that a lot of the shit that a lot of the stuff that like concerned me 5 years ago, like money and status and careers and things like that, like they don't really matter in the grand scheme of things. Now that doesn't mean that I want to go out and be homeless and beg for money everywhere I go and just kind of live like that. I do think humans are meant to have a purpose, and like we are purpose driven. But if you're kind of just working to work, especially if it's meaningless, really makes you feel a lot less than. I guess the point of today's video is doing things that make you scared. Calculated risk. Like one of my favorite, excuse me, sorry, I do be burping. One of my favorite fitness influencers, and I hate using that word because like a lot of them are just trying to flex their muscles and sell you overpriced garbage. One of my favorite ones, he's like, yeah, he's really physically fit, but he also talks about the mental aspects. And one of his sayings that he also has like merch on, it's Scott EK Fitness, by the way, is do it afraid. We're gonna do it, and we're gonna do it afraid. And I can't tell you how many times I almost canceled this trip because I was kind of freaking out because it's like $1,200 with everything, especially when you're unemployed. That's a lot of money. Also, I hate flying. I loathe flying. And with the recent stuff with the government and cuts in the FAA, just seeing plane crashes, it really freaked me out. And I know those all kind of seem really silly, right? Just like, why am I freaking out over something that some people do every other day? They fly, you know? But to me, they were a big deal. And I knew that if I didn't go on this trip, I wouldn't have that personal growth that I was needing. I would definitely regret it. Especially being here right now and seeing these 1,000-year-old trees. I knew I'd regret it. And I'm very happy that I decided to come here. So guys, listen, I'm not a motivational person. In fact, I kind of hate those people because motivation is very temporary, right? I prefer like habits and like ways of doing things repeatedly. But I will say, if there's something in your life that you're really wanting to do, really wanting to try out, dude, you only live once, man. And like, I know it's so cliche, and I'm just speaking in like cliche terms, right? But having been here right now, which is like the top of my bucket list, and like being here, I'm so glad I decided to come here. I feel so like at peace right now, slightly scared, but just like this weird sense of like, I don't know, like adventure and peace. And it's just really nice, you know? I know it's really easy to say that from the inside of an ancient forest, but it does. It feels really great. So I don't even know if that makes sense with this video, you know, but I don't know. If there's just something in your guys' life that you're wanting to check out and wanting to do, freaking do it, dude. You're only getting older, right? Just turned 30 2 days ago. And I'm going to blink my eyes, I'm going to be 40. And then I'm going to blink my eyes again and I'll be 60. And I won't be able to do all these things when I'm 75 years old. Maybe, who knows? But I worked for a long time, you know. I'm going to continue to work. I'm not just going to stop doing what I'm doing. But sometimes it's nice to stop and smell the roses and enjoy life a little bit, you know? Hope that makes sense, you guys. I don't really have much else to say from inside the Redwoods. I'm gonna take the rest of this time to walk, maybe journal a little bit, do some meditation, and really just think about the present and where I'm at and why I'm here. If you guys have dealt with something like this before, let me know in the comments below. Always open to criticism, as long as it's constructive. Your thoughts on these things, your experiences, like all we are is just the sum of our own experiences. So yeah, guys, hope that makes sense. Hope y'all have a great rest of your day. This is Kody signing out from the Redwoods. Bye, guys.